going on, everybody? Another Algatulo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970. The Answer. We're already into the second week of March. Did you happen to spring ahead? Because, yes, daylight savings time is back. It's back. Days a little bit longer. The sun stays up a little bit more. Warmer weather's coming. I promise you. Warmer weather is coming. Tonight, though, I might be just returning home from seeing the great Joe Bonamassa down in Red Bank, New Jersey at the Count Basie. He is awesome. If you haven't seen Joe Bonamassa, do yourself a favor. Go see him. He's fantastic. I've talked about it 1,000 times. He's an unbelievable performer. Coming up in 20 minutes, though, Brett Bullock from Screamin Hill Brewery in Cream Ridge, New Jersey is going to join me. This is an interview I taped about a week and a half ago. Always good stuff from Brett on the farm. Their new tanks are up and running. They're in their test phase and getting ready to crank out some new delicious suds for you. We'll have all the details on that, a race that they're going to be doing on the farm, and all kinds of stuff. Good stuff from Brett. And it comes your way in just about, actually not 20 minutes. It's more like a half hour. It'll be the final segment of the show. And you won't want to miss that because Brett has a great job. And if you haven't been to the farm, you should go. Take a trip one day. Weather's getting warmer. Sit out, have a beer, relax, enjoy yourself. It's a good time. Das Bock is back, and the New York State Craft Brewers Guild is telling you to put on your lederhosen because it returns. Das Bock, New York's original lager festival, returns to the famed Plattdeutsch Beer Garden on Long Island, Saturday, May 16th. It offers everything an authentic German beer festival has, and then some, featuring more than 45 breweries from across the state. The unique event offers enthusiasts, both novice and seasoned, a rare opportunity to relish in craft beers of all styles with a focus on a variety of traditional lagers. Discover German food, flavors, and music. Meet the masters behind the craft you love. Industry professionals from brewers to brewery owners are excited to share their knowledge and their craft with you. They have you can upgrade to a VIP for an exclusive beers and bites tasting an hour ahead of the festival from noon to 1. You can enjoy 4 New York State craft beers thoughtfully paired with authentic German bites from the Plattdeutsch Beer Garden. From savory to sweet, the menu features roasted pork belly, wild boar sausage, smoked salmon, and a traditional crumb dumpling. Plus, receive an upgraded half-liter commemorative beer stein for the festival. So I'll tell you the ticket prices. The regular admission, general admission, is 1 to 5. Noon to 1 is the VIP hour. This is at 1132 Hempstead Turnpike in Franklin Square, New York. Let's see. Let me make sure I have this right here. Oh, get tickets. You always have to click onto these things in order to find out the price. Okay, here we go. So the VIP beer and brats pairing and general admission, that is $116.73 all in. General admission tickets are $65.53, and if you're a designated driver, you just pay $20 to get in. It is an awesome time. I know my good friends Denny and Patty from New Jersey. It's New Jersey Beer Partners. They've been to the event. They were there last year. They said they had a blast. It is definitely worth the ticket price and for you to go to this event. And if you're a lager fan like I am, it's definitely something you want to be at. Terrapin Brewing, save the date. They are approaching a huge milestone, 24 years of good beer, great people, and unforgettable memories in Athens and beyond. Athens, Georgia, that is. Mark your calendars for Saturday, April 25th. Expect fresh releases, live music, plenty of surprises along the way. Tickets and full details coming soon. Stay tuned. As soon as we have that info, we will get it to you. Colorado lawmakers are considering a 60% tax increase on the state's local breweries, wineries, cideries, and distilleries at a time they are facing the most challenging business conditions in generations with record closures and down sales. This one is sort of baffling to me. Colorado's beer, wine, and spirits producers stand united in opposition to the bill HB 26-1271, introduced by State Rep. Jamie Jackson, which would also increase costs on their customers when affordability is a top priority for Coloradans. This from Shawnee Adelson, the executive director of the Colorado Brewers Guild. We are arguably the most important beer-producing state in America and the most dependent on beer jobs. We should be proud to be the state of craft beer. But Colorado's breweries are also facing major challenges with nearly 200 closures since the pandemic. Increasing taxes on breweries in Colorado would be like Maine lawmakers going after lobster fishermen or Georgia with peach farmers. You simply don't pass job-killing tax increases on a sector that has put you on the map, especially in a way that would go around the will of Coloradan voters. I don't disagree with Shawnee here on this one. There are 420 breweries in Colorado, 145 wineries, nearly 20 cideries, 100 distilleries, creating over 130,000 good-paying jobs and more than $22 billion in economic activity for the state. They pay more than $7.2 billion with a B in taxes. If massive tax increases lead to more closures, much of this is at risk. And, you know, there's so many different things here. Wine sales are down 10% nationally. It's ridiculous that you would continue to tax these people when they're already paying $7 billion in taxes to your state and generate more than $22 billion in economic activity for the state. Why would you do that? And we've been talking about this all along, about how alcohol sales are down. People are drinking less. So because people are drinking less, now's the time to start taxing those people more? That's ridiculous. That makes no economic sense whatsoever. If this bill passes, I can guarantee you that more businesses will close. Not just breweries, wineries, cideries, distilleries. They'll all start closing. Why continue to pay that exorbitant amount of money? It's beyond the pale that this is what they want to do to increase the state coffers. Why? $7 billion isn't enough for you? Find it somewhere else. I don't understand the short-sightedness of legislators sometimes. It's a little crazy, at least in my opinion. Czig Meister is going to have their anniversary party on Saturday, June 13th. It's going to be from noon to 10 p.m. Live music, limited beer releases, food activities. Over the coming months, they will release more detailed things that are going to be happening at the brewery. But if you want to mark your calendar, it's Saturday, June 13th. The Veil is celebrating 10 years. They posted something on social media. I thought it was kind of funny. It was, if you looked at it real quick, it was sort of misleading. They had a grave marker, and they had like the 10-year marker marked, and people were assuming, oh, my God, they're going to close. Well, they're not. They are celebrating 10 years on April 18th at all three of their locations, Scott's Addition, Norfolk, and Forest Hill. Again, Saturday, April 18th, they will be celebrating 10 years. More details as we get them. Beer Girl, you remember Caroline Falk. We had her on the program a while back. The low ABV beer brand that is based in Laguna Beach, California, announced a series of major growth milestones about a week and a half ago. They are expanding into other markets. Beer Girl, of course, is a easy-drinking, low ABV, 3.5% lager, zero sugar, gluten-reduced, brewed with corn rather than wheat, and is available across accounts in California and Arizona. As of March 1st, they will also be in Texas, Tennessee, North Carolina, Florida, and in Florida. Additional state launches are expected to follow all this year and beyond. The expansion reflects Beer Girl's disciplined market-by-market growth strategy, prioritizing strong distributor partnerships and on-premise visibility as the brand builds national awareness. Beer Girl launching nationwide online shipping mid-March, opening direct access to consumers and extending the brand's reach. As Caroline Falk, the co-founder of Beer Girl, says, this multi-state expansion marks a major milestone for Beer Girl. We're excited to bring out lighter, low-ABV, gluten-reduced beer to a much wider audience as demand grows for more balanced options. For more information, all you have to do is go to drinkbeergirl.com. Kudos to Caroline. We'll have to get her back on the show again, talk a little bit more about the nationwide expansion. I think that is really cool. And then finally, New York State may soon allow licensed liquor stores to sell cannabis-infused drinks, but they would only be able to stock low-dosage options. State lawmakers are considering a bill that would allow liquor stores to get permits to sell weed drinks alongside wine and beer, but only if the THC content is 5 milligrams or less. Assemblyman John Zuccaro of the Bronx, Senator Jeremy Cooney of Rochester say New York's independent liquor stores are uniquely qualified to retail low-potency cannabis beverages. They are already required to be independently owned, must maintain a distance of at least 200 feet from schools and houses of worship, and employ staff trained in rigorous age verification protocols. They claim their measure, the lawmakers do, if approved, would protect nearly 600 licensed marijuana stores in the state by limiting the stores to low-potency drinks, while many of the cannabis dispensaries only sell higher-dosed beverages. It would also provide revenue to fund loans and grants for social equity-owned dispensaries, and the tax revenue generated would also bolster funding for the state's Office of Cannabis Management and grant issues by the office. But one cannabis store operator said he's opposed to allowing the liquor industry to enter the cannabis market. Osbert Oduna, CEO of the cannabis place in Middle Village, Queens, says it's ridiculous. If we can't sell alcohol, why should liquor stores sell cannabis? And I think he's right. He says he sells lower-dose THC-infused beverages, particularly in the warmer weather. He said there is still a huge illicit market selling unlicensed weed that impacts the bottom line of legit cannabis shops. He says it makes no sense. I would tend to agree with him on that one. I think he's right. And I don't think liquor stores will do the right thing by those THC drugs. Plus, they have no knowledge of them. You go to a cannabis place, they have knowledge of these drinks. That just makes sense. When we come back after a short break, we're going to have more news and notes from around the beer world. This is the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. All right, welcome back to the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. We got a great show for you. You know, as I mentioned earlier, Brett Bullock is going to join me from Screamin Hill, and that'll be in the final segment of the program. So you definitely want to stick around for that. We got a lot of news and notes to get to. I was on vacation for a couple of days last week into this current week that is ending or beginning, however you want to call it. Anyway, what was really great was the fact that when I got back, I had some beer mail, and the good folks from Dogfish Head have sent me the new Citrus Daydream Lager, which is their new collab with the Grateful Dead. So I'm excited to try that. I will indulge on that at some point, and I will get back to you on how it tastes. They're going to have a big event at the Brooklyn Bowl for Record Store Day. I will be there. Hopefully you can be too. There'll be tickets on sale, all kinds of stuff. As soon as more details come out, we will get that to you. Now, Vine and Stefanen, listen to this. The brewery that is the oldest brewery in the world, they began brewing beer in the year 1040, okay? So they want to turn Boston into a beer garden with a new collaboration between tiny pubs and Vine and Stefanen. Visit the link in their bio for more information and to book a tiny pub. They're available within 100 miles of Reading, Massachusetts. You must be 21 and older to rent it. Rentals include commemorative Vine and Stefaner glassware and taps for pouring your favorite Vine and Stefaner beer. Must be purchased separately. Obviously, you have to purchase the beer separately. But they want to do a whole thing of turning your backyard into a little beer garden, which is cool. That's good stuff. And Vine and Stefanen is fantastic. Whenever I see it on tap somewhere, have to get it. If they have it in a bottle, I will get it. It is a classic. It is a fantastic beer through and through. Never a bad Vine and Stefanen, let's put it that way. Our good friends from Autodidact, well, they're going to be having their anniversary party the weekend of March 20th, 21st, and 22nd. More details when we get them in. I will certainly be there on that Saturday, the 21st. The Ronnies do a fantastic job with their beer. I love drinking their stuff. Paragon Tap and Table gets it in on the regular. So I enjoy that immensely. So I am definitely in on that for Autodidact's third anniversary. I can't believe it's 3 years already with Autodidact. 3 years already? Man, time flies when you're having fun. The fourth annual Barron Brew Fest takes place on Saturday, May 16th from 3 to 6 p.m. Now, this is interesting. So this is in Manheim, Pennsylvania. And I don't exactly, you know what's funny? Let me see here. They have a map. Maybe I can figure out where it is. Let's see if I can expand on this. Oh, this is I know where this is. This is near Lancaster. So anyway, let's get into it. Market Square. This is in Market Square in Manheim, Pennsylvania. This is from Saturday, May 16th, from 3 to 6 p.m. Tickets are about $50 each. they will have, let me see if I read this right here. This is showcasing samples of a variety of different products. So they're going to have beer, wine, cider, mead, and spirits from makers around the region. It's outdoors, live music, food vendors. You also have the opportunity to purchase many of those products at the event that you can take home, which is kind of cool. And if you don't want to carry them around all afternoon, well, there's no problem there. Ticket holders can use their convenient bottle check, and you pick up your purchase on your way out. So that is Saturday, May 16th from 3 to 6 p.m. It's the 4th annual Barron Brew Fest. It is a rain or shine event, so make sure that you are aware of that it is rain or shine. The Cheers Act, Creating Hospitality, Economic Enhancement for Restaurants and Servers Act, was reintroduced in the House of Representatives on February 20th. The bipartisan legislation would provide a tax incentive to bars, restaurants, and entertainment venues to invest in energy-efficient draft systems. This would amend language in the IRS Code Section 168E 3E to allow on-premise outlets to depreciate sustainable draft systems over a 15-year period while reducing their taxable income and liabilities. Representative Darren LaHood from Illinois, a lead sponsor once again, along with Reps Stephen Horsford of Nevada, Claudia Tenney in New York, and Susan Del Bene, also signing on from Nevada, New York, and Washington, respectively. After its introduction, the bill was referred to the House Committee on Ways and Means. The Senate is expected to introduce its version in the coming weeks. Beer Institute President and CEO Brian Crawford wrote in a member update. He said the Beer Institute is pleased to endorse this bipartisan legislation which promotes the use of energy-efficient, sustainable draft systems to deliver the freshest beer. The newly released language continues to provide a straightforward tax incentive to support investment in energy-efficient draft systems, encouraging consumers to enjoy beer in its freshest, most sustainable form while supporting bars, restaurants, and on-premise venues. Previous versions of the Cheers Act were introduced back in 2024 and 2025. They stalled in the Ways and Means Committee. The latest version of the Cheers Act amends a different section of the IRS code, as the previous code section is set to sunset later this year following the passage of H.R. 1, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which President Trump signed into law back in July of last year. The bill comes as interest in draft beer is waning. Last month, Miranda Breedlove, director of beverages for Hyatt's The Lifestyle Group, shared that the hotel chain within a chain will not be installing draft systems in new construction projects during a panel discussion at the Beer, Wine, and Spirits Summit. Now, all of this information coming from Brewbound, and we mentioned it. So it's interesting. They're doing less draft beer at new hotels and more of bottled beer or spirits or other things. But I like this idea. You can invest in a draft system and take money off if it's energy efficient. Let's see what happens there. Hopefully the bill passes and gets through, and we'll see, and we will update you as it warrants. Now, Founders, jumping in on the whole light lager kind of thing, they have announced easy drinking beer. It's for the craft drinker looking for something easy to enjoy but still features quality ingredients for a quality taste. Easy drinking beer, brewed with premium ingredients, comes in at a laid-back 5% ABV. The beer is for the basement hangs or playing darts in the garage, maybe even sipping by the grill if you were feeling bold. For the long, effortless weekends when you have no plans whatsoever, reach for easy drinking beer. So if it's around somewhere, I will certainly pick it up. And then finally, before we take a break, one of the big deals in beer this week, Tilray brand striking a deal to acquire some of the assets of Scottish craft brewery Brewdog. This was from this past Monday. I know I sort of buried the lead, but I'm not a big Brewdog guy. Honestly, I think their beer is sort of okay. It's not great. Maybe this improves the product. Anyway, the deal closed on Monday. It includes Brewdog's global brand and IP, its brewing operations in Scotland, 11 pubs, across the UK and Ireland. A separate deal for assets in the U.S. and Australia is underway. It's expected to close in 30 days. So, barring a complication, it looks like Tilray is going to lock, stock, and barrel take the whole thing. They basically said they are acquiring an infrastructure at a price that they would never have been able to purchase if this was 10 years ago. So it essentially builds up their brand even more. Although, unfortunately, a lot of people are going to get laid off because they have said they're going to close a bunch of these pubs. And those people that were stockholders in the company, that were the equity for punks that we talked about, years ago, that people were investing in the company, they lose all their money. They don't get a dime out of this. So that's a little sad. But, I mean, this is the nature of the business. And I think from a beer standpoint, this is a good move for Tilray. They still are looking to get cannabis legal across the entire United States. If it does, it becomes a game changer. But in the meantime, they're continuing their beer acquisitions at a time where they're getting a lot of these breweries on the cheap, which is, for them, I think that's smart business sense. Now, again, full disclosure, I am a stockholder in Tilray. I do have some shares. I had a lot more until they split the stock, and now I'm left with only a few. But, hey, that's, again, the nature of the business. But I want to be fully transparent with people and let them know that I am a stockholder in Tilray, and their success is my success. So I'm not hiding anything from people. When we come back after a break, though, a couple things. One, the return of Gary Monterosso to the program in his little 60-second beer segment. This time it'll be about beer quality, beer, a clean glass, and things of that nature. Gary has a little insight on that. But also, a brewery in South Jersey that is going through a lot of issues right now has just filed for bankruptcy. There might have been a possible fire in their brewery, and a lot of twists and turns. Yeah. Isn't the beer world and beer space fun? That it is on the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Welcome back to the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Hope everybody is doing well on this Sunday. My earphones are just incredibly loud. That's what happens when people muck around with the equipment there. Coming up in just a few minutes to finish off the show, Brett Bullock, the owner-operator of Screamin Hill Brewery in Cream Ridge, New Jersey, is going to join me on the program. Lots of stuff to talk about with Brett. We talked about a week and a half ago, and can't wait to get into it with him. But we have plenty of beer news here to get to, so let us dive into it. So Battle River Brewing down in Tom's River, which used to be, I guess, Tom's River Brewing and a bunch of different names, they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection back in February, February the 27th, that is. They're officially named Hops on Main LLC, but they were also dealing with a jury over a lawsuit brought on by its former head brewer. The bankruptcy automatically pauses all litigation, leaving a $90,000 arbitration award in limbo and raising questions about the company's financial health. This is an ongoing legal dispute with Ian Bartlett, the brewery's first head brewer. The dispute centers on Bartlett's claim that he's owed a 5% ownership stake in the business. According to court records, Bartlett was hired in 2019 with a unique offer. In addition to his salary, he would gradually vest ownership in the company, maxing out at 5% after 4 years of service. The contract, Bartlett argues, stated that upon his departure, company would buy back that stake at fair market value. He left the brewery in the fall of 2023. He requested payment for his shares. The company refused, and that ignited a legal war that has now spanned nearly 2 years. We got this from Exit 82 Scanner News on Facebook. The case took a contentious turn. The brewery's owners, Raymond Carney, Gary Morris, and Joseph Carney, produced a different version of the employment offer in court. Their version included a crucial caveat. If Bartlett voluntarily left the company, his shares would cede back to the managing members, effectively rendering his stake worthless upon his departure. Bartlett's attorneys maintain that their version of the contract dated March 31st, 2019, was the operative agreement and that the brewery was attempting to rewrite history to avoid a payout. In a significant ruling last August, the individual owners were dismissed from the lawsuit. They could not be personally held liable for the debts of the LLC. The case then proceeded against the business entity alone. Despite the setback, Bartlett scored a major victory in arbitration last November. An independent arbiter awarded him $90,000, finding that the fair market value interpretation of the contract was correct. The arbiter pointed to the brewery's own offering documents, which valued a 2.5% stake in the company at $45,000 as key evidence supporting the award. However, the brewery, now represented by bankruptcy counsel Daniel Straffi Jr., rejected the award, demanded a trial, and before that trial could occur, company filed for Chapter 11 protection. They're listing the company's assets and liabilities between $1 million and $10 million. Among its largest unsecured creditors is Ian Bartlett, whose claim is listed as disputed. So what's next? They're going to have to go through this Chapter 11. They will continue to operate under the protection of the bankruptcy court. The combination of a mounting legal judgment and the court's scrutiny over missing paperwork, though, suggests a rocky road ahead. That, according to this article. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. I'm hoping this guy gets his money if it is true, and if it's not, we'll see what happens there. I was not a big fan of Battle River Brewing. I thought their beer was okay, nothing great. From what I've heard, and I've never been to their establishment, but from what I've heard, the place is always packed. We'll see what happens here. I've heard some other shady things, but I'm going to leave that alone because I can't substantiate them. So we'll leave that alone for now. But more on that as we continue on. Efforts to allow craft brewers to self-distribute up to 500 barrels annually and increase brewery-to-go sales hit a snag in Georgia. They sought a vote on SB 456 in the Senate-related Regulated Industries Committee. Couldn't get a second from another lawmaker. Legislation was opposed by the state's distributors, saying it would damage the state's three-tier system. It doesn't look like this is going to pass legislation, which is a shame. German beer brand Bitburger updating its packaging for this year. The modern update for the 200-plus-year-old brewery comes on the heels of an expansion push into the United States, including the launch of 12-packs last year, refreshed 4-packs rolling out to retail now, 12-packs of premium Pilsner coming in the spring. Bitburger 0.0 premium Pils alcohol-free will be taking place this fall, so kudos to Bitburger on that. The Michigan Brewers Guild, fresh off the heels of their Winter Beer Festival, announcing the 27th Annual Summer Beer Festival. It'll be held on Saturday, June 13th at Riverside Park in Ypsilanti. Although the festival will be one day this year, it will return to its normal format of 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. for beer tasting. Many new pieces of entertainment will be introduced, along with the emphasis on great live music. More details to come on that. Tickets go on sale Thursday, March 19th. As soon as we get more information on who will be there, we will let you know. Our good friends from Von Ebert Brewing has released Tropical Substance IPA. It's the first in a series of 3 spin-off recipes of their signature award-winning Volatile Substance Northwest IPA. It's a 6.9% ABV, notes of pineapple utilizing Citra, Crush, and Strata hops, a touch of Abstract's Pineapple Sky Farm to boost the tropical twist. Available at all 3 Von Ebert Brewing locations, as well as in Northwest bars, bottle shops, groceries, and convenience stores. The next 2 triple dry-hopped Volatile Substance Northwest IPA will be released in July. Saturated Substance Northwest IPA comes out in November. So good stuff from there. Now, let us play. Gary Monterosso was back with us on the program to contribute on a weekly basis, his little 60-second snippets. Before we take a break, we're going to talk. Gary is going to talk all about beer quality. Take a listen.
I'm Gary Monterosso for the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast. When enjoying beer, it's essential to recognize signs that may indicate poor quality, often unrelated to the beer itself. Here are some key points. A well-poured beer has sufficient foam and shouldn't fill to the rim. Insufficient head means gas isn't released, while too much foam can be excessive. Look for funky smells or sour taste, which can indicate unclean brewery conditions. A dirty glass leads to poor beer presentation, such as bubbles sticking to the sides and immediate head collapse. Good foam consists of small, tightly packed bubbles. Large bubbles signal an unclean glass and warrant a fresh glass request. Be cautious of servers handling the glass rim or sliding it to you. Being attentive to these details enhances your overall beer experience, ensuring you enjoy a quality drink.
All right. Well, thank you, Gary. Appreciate that. You know, he's right. Clean glass, always important. Always important to have those little bit of bubbles in there that are tight. Good stuff from Gary Monterosso from Beverage Chronicles. He'll be rejoining us again with his little 60-second segments on a weekly basis, I hope. Gary, thank you for that. I do appreciate it. Finally, before we take a break here, some news in New Jersey about a brewery that is up for sale. Five Dimes Brewing is asking or selling their business down in Red Bank. This does not come as any surprise to me. Since they opened, they have not done well over there. The beer is okay. And for a place that is in the center of Red Bank. You got Bonacera right down the street. Jamien's Bar is next door. You have the Count Basie right down the street. They've not generated a ton of business. I've never gone in there and seen that place packed. I've always seen a couple of people in there and out. Now, my good friends, Matt and John from Coastal Brew Works, were in there brewing at the very beginning. And then they ran into some legal trouble with the owner and are presently suing him for non-payment. And that's all I'm going to say about it. So I know there was some folks on Reddit that didn't think that that was legitimate. It is. And I'm hoping that the guys can recoup their money that is owed to them. The brewery is looking to sell for $600,000. The gross revenue is about $385,000. I think with the right brewery in there, you could certainly do a lot of business. I just don't think that Five Dimes is the right business. And they have their own legal troubles up in their place in Westwood. The guy is looking to expand in a couple of different places in the state. My question is, why would you continue to expand when your product is not exactly up to specs in terms of it's just not knocking people out of the park? It's very meh type of beer, plain and simple. That's just my opinion. When we come back after a short break, Brett Bullock from Screamin Hill Brewery in Cream Ridge, New Jersey is going to join me on the program to finish up the show. This is the Algatulo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Welcome back to the Algatulo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. And my next guest on the program, full disclosure, we're recording this about a week and a half ahead of time. And if, for those of you that don't know or do know, the East Coast got hit with a pretty serious snowstorm. The most snow that we've seen probably in 10 or 15 years, maybe even back 20. I remember the blizzard of 1996. I know that my next guest has remembered it as well. I remember it because I was stranded at my now ex-girlfriend's house for about 4 days, and it turns out about a month after that, I met the woman who would eventually become my wife. So for me, it was a bad blizzard, but a good result, in the end. But I'll tell you, it's been crazy around here on the East Coast for the last several days. So my next guest has been running a farm down in Cream Ridge, New Jersey for a long time. And last June, they celebrated 10 years as a brewery. In addition to the farm celebrating 165 years, you know him. The ScreaminHill.com is the website for more information. Let me welcome back to the program Brett Bullock. Brett, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Al. Thanks for having me back on.
Oh, you're welcome. Now, I noticed a few days ago that the new brew system up and running, and you had pictures in there with books of how do I brew, what do I do on this equipment. How are things going with all the new toys on the farm?
They're going pretty good. We're still working on. We're just running test batches through the new system. We got a new 7-barrel brew house from American Brewing Equipment that we've been working on building out this winter, and we're at the stage now where we're just running test batches through it just to try to kind of get familiar with it, and we're getting close to being ready to start cranking our real beers out of it. So it's been exciting. It's a really nice it's a huge improvement compared to what we've been brewing on over the past 10 years.
Right.
So we're pretty excited about it.
Is that normal with brewing equipment that you have to sort of break it in a little bit before you can really get it up to task, or is it one of those things? It's not a plug and play. You kind of have to figure it out because obviously different systems, the way they run things, much different. The way your grain is going through or the hops that you're putting through.
Yeah, this system we have is just way more sophisticated, and it's got a little bit of automation built into it. Our last brew house was, we used to joke that it was like a glorified homebrew system. Right. It was, poorly engineered, just not the best system in the world. Whereas this one, we sort of custom engineered it to what we wanted. We worked with American Brewing Equipment. They're out in Nebraska, as far as the engineering and how we wanted tanks to be sized and, piping, process piping and all that stuff. So it's just, it's a bit of a learning curve going from our old system to this new system. We're really focused on our efficiency. Part of this was we want to be able to make the most out of each brew and get our efficiency up to like 85%, and we're getting really close to that. We're just working on like the best methods and processes to make that happen.
Understood. It's amazing how the technology has advanced from when you first started 10 years ago to now, and how you can do things that would just be normally you'd have to come back to the brewery 3 and 4 times a night just to check on temperatures and stuff. And now you can basically, it's almost like a Ron Popeil device. Just set it and forget it, and everything takes care of itself. But it's great that you're running it through those test phases. One of the other things about some of the beers you've been releasing recently, new names, some new can art. Who is doing the designs for the cans that you produce? Is that all in-house?
No. We work with One Trick Pony. They're out of South Jersey and Philadelphia. They had some offices, but Rob Reed is the guy that does all of our can designs from One Trick. He's become a great friend, and he makes us look way more professional than we are. We absolutely love his work. He's pretty incredible.
That's awesome. I mean, the labels really capture the essence of the farm, and that's exactly what you want when it comes out of there. And it's just, they're stunning. I mean, they're visually striking, and that's one of the things, especially in this day and age, when you're searching for shelf space in liquor stores and stuff, or trying to get your taps on a system. If things stand out, the consumer is going to see that, and that is, for you guys, that makes all the difference in the world, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic having him, just be able to represent our farm and the brewery the way he does. He just kind of gets it, and he gets what we want. And he's created this sort of fluidity throughout all of the branding and all the different beers that is, that's what we were looking for. Like when you look at it, it's the Screamin Hill can, and I love what he does for us.
Nice. We're talking with Brett Bullock, the owner-operator of Screamin Hill Brewery, located in beautiful Cream Ridge, New Jersey. For more information on the brewery, you can just head over to Screamin, just spell out Screamin, but leave the G off, hill.com. We're here on the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, The Answer. Honey Bear, a new stout you released back around Valentine's Day. I'm assuming there's some honey in the mix on that one?
Oh, yeah. We've got some hives on the farm. We don't take care of them. We've got neighbors that have a honey company called Ridge Honey Co., and they come over and maintain these hives as well as some that they have around the corner. But our bees here on this farm produced an insane amount of honey this year. The guys were really excited. So we, obviously use that local honey for this stout. We had been talking about trying to find some way to use that. We had done a different version of a honey stout years ago, but this was sort of a revamped version of it. So it's like I really enjoy that beer. It's got like a nice sweetness to it. You get a little bit of the honey flavor, but it's just a really solid kind of just pretty simple stout with some honey in it.
Brett, that's an interesting question. When you're, having been brewing for 10 years, do you go, I know that obviously you have staples that you brew on a constant basis that people love, and maybe you tweak it here and there, just a little bit, or maybe you keep the same formula, but do you go back to beers that you haven't done in a while and say, I really like that beer, but it needed something else to it, or maybe we can kind of tweak it, or maybe there's something that we've grown on the farm that we can add to it? Do you go back to that from time to time to kind of revisit those beers?
Yeah, honestly, we're kind of always trying to improve everything. Like, we keep pretty intense records of every batch and every beer, what we liked, what we didn't like, what worked, what didn't work, and we're always trying to tweak things kind of on a regular basis. But now that we have this new system, we're really going back over every recipe and just seeing, what we want to do with it, what can make it better. We're just always trying to, it could always be better. So we're always just trying to figure out what could we do to improve this, or like you said, if there's a new ingredient from the farm we could use, we're always trying to keep our eyes out for that kind of stuff. And then, sometimes there'll be a beer that sort of fell off the production list for whatever reason, and then we'll go back and be like, wait a minute, Dusty Dungarees is one of those. It's like a, kind of a easy drinking IPA that we haven't brewed in a couple of years, and we've been saying, we should probably revisit that and try to get that back into the schedule this year.
There you go. I love it. Now, you got about just under 2 months until the next big run on the farm. It's the third annual 5K Scramble. It's on Saturday, April 18th. How many laps around the farm is that? Or is it one full lap around the farm?
I think it's 2 or 3. To be honest, okay. I'm not a runner, so I've never done it. But I think it's 2 to 3.
You just watch and drink beer. Okay, go.
Yeah, I just serve the beer. I don't do the running. But yeah, it's 2 or 3 laps, and it's a pretty challenging run, actually. There's quite a few hills. People don't think of hills when they think of Jersey, but we've got some decent-sized hills on this farm. So it's a challenging, pretty fun run. It's different, I think, than a lot of them because it's all dirt. You're not running on the road at all. So I think people enjoy the off-road running thing. So it's a really fun day. It's put on by a good day for a run, and they do an awesome job of organizing the race and everything.
Definitely on the knees. I know that as a former runner, and you wouldn't believe it by looking at me now, but way back in high school, I was a track runner, and definitely we enjoyed running the cross-country races more than we did the races on the track, because that was killer on your knees. We're talking with we're talking with Brett Bullock, the owner operator of Screamin Hill Brewery, located in beautiful Cream Ridge, New Jersey. The third annual 5K Scramble is on Saturday, April 18th. And for more information on that, on the brewery, or if you want to register for the event, it's Screamin, SCREAMIN Hill.com. Just search for events on the website, and you can register right there. We're here on the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. So, Brett, are there still Harvest Club memberships available, and what does a person get for the $150 membership for the year?
Yeah, we do still have some spots available. It's a fun club. You get a mug that hangs in the brewery that we keep it here, keep it clean for you, and it's always ready when you come in. So you're basically getting 20 ounces of beer for that 16-ounce price. You get discounts on your 4-packs, discounts on merchandise, and then, we'll do private events throughout the year for the Harvest Club only. The big one is we do a big pig roast for the harvesters, which is something we've been doing since back when we started. Nice. That's a really fun day. So it's private events, and it's just like a cool kind of hill community of people that are here all the time, or even some people that don't come all the time, but when they're here, they want to feel like they're part of the family, and right. It's a really fun. It's a fun thing. It's a fun group of people.
Brett, it's interesting. I have so many people that I know, friends of mine, even family, that have been like, "Hey, have you been to Screamin Hill?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've been there plenty of times. I've had Brett on my show, and it's just a great spot, and the beer is delicious. And we love going there on weekends. It's so nice to just sit and chill on the farm." You've really created an experience that's unlike any other brewery in the state of New Jersey. And I'm not trying to take anything away from other places like maybe a Departed Souls or a Source or something like that, but what you have done with the farm and with the brewery and the experience for people is really amazing. I hear this all the time from people that go or have heard a recommendation from me to say, "Hey, if you want to do something a little different, go down there." They're like, it's a really nice chill atmosphere. There's somebody playing guitar on the lawn. It's everybody is. It's just a relaxed, chill feeling. And kudos to you and your crew, because it's just a great spot to go to. And then you add the pumpkins in, and you add the Christmas trees and all the other stuff. It really is a great sense of community that you have there, whether people are coming from around the corner or 50, 60 miles away. And I'm really proud to know you, and what an amazing job that you have done with that. It's been a labor of love for you. I know that.
Yeah, for sure. We're, my partner Ryan and I are incredibly lucky that we have this family farm to do this on. He's been around the farm since we were kids, and we have a lot of people that came before us that kept this farm going, to thank for even having the opportunity to do this. But I've said this many times, like the people that come to Screamin Hill are kind of what makes the secret sauce. Like, it's such a fun group of people. There's just something about everybody that comes. People are always meeting friends here, new friends that they've never met before. It's like a fun environment where everybody's very inviting and open, and just sort of, I don't know, there's something special about it. And I think a lot of that has to do with this local community of people that come all the time and support us. So we're super appreciative of all that.
Yeah. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, just go once. Even if you're not a beer drinker or whatever, just have one or whatever. Just sit, it's a really great experience. And it definitely, if it doesn't calm you down, then there's something wrong with you. Then maybe you need to get checked out. Last question for me, Brett. What is coming up in the tanks that's going to be coming out soon in the next couple weeks or months or so?
We're getting ready to package a new batch of Backroad Rambler. We've got Desperado coming back. We've got Bullock's Lager in the lager tanks. Part of this new system that we bought included 2 15-barrel horizontal lager tanks, which we are very, very excited about. We're really excited to have lagers on all the time this year once we get things rocking and rolling in there. So we've got a batch of Bullock's Lager. We've got a new pale ale with Strata and Citra coming out soon. That'll be like a really light, refreshing pale ale. And we'll probably have our Mexican lager, El Lager, will be out probably in the spring sometime soon. Nice. So, yeah, a lot of new stuff coming out, a lot of old-time favorites.
I love it. My guest has been Brett Bullock, the owner-operator of Screamin Hill Brewery, located in beautiful Cream Ridge, New Jersey. The third annual 5K Scramble, Saturday, April 18th. For more info on the brewery and those events, and if you want to register for this event, you head over to Screamin, just leave off the G, hill.com. Search for events on the website to register. Brett, thanks so much for joining me tonight. Very much appreciated, and hopefully I will see you soon down on the farm.
Thank you, Al. Always a pleasure.
You got it. And my thanks to everybody involved in the program, and as well as my guest, Brett Bullock from Screamin Hill Brewery, and, of course, last but not least, the great Buddy Watson. I'll be back on the Joe Piscopo Show Monday at 6 a.m. This has been the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Cheers, everybody.